Hello, John.
Hey Gregory, good to see you. Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. Hello, everyone. I'm going to welcome to my podcast. I'm Greg Rabine, and I help cyber solution providers scale using AI powered systems so they can grow revenue predictably. So today, I have I'm pleasure to introduce my guest, Jon Ozdoruk, the CEO and founder of DSALTA, an AI powered platform that enables organizations to achieve and maintain compliance faster than ever using specialized AI agents that can draft policies, map controls, and assess vendors and remediate risks in real time. This is a huge shift in the business right now with the rise of AI agents and how they're transforming the way organizations um, handle risk or assess risk, prove trust, and then obviously staying ahead of the of constantly evolving requirements, not only from their customers but from their partners. So, Jon, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Gregory. Glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Well, tell us a little bit about your journey. I mean, obviously, we'd love to hear a little introduction, your journey to the CEO and founder of DSALTA, and how you're making an impact on the cyber um, behavior of your customers.
Definitely. Happy to talk about why we found this Salta. But before that, let me explain my background. I have been a long-term software engineer, then switched to marketing. Unlike everybody, I switched to the dark side of marketing. But I was fortunate to work in large companies, including Nvidia. I was one of the first employees in high performance computing groups marketing. I was first-hand responsible and saw the initial rise of GPU computing. And since then, I've been doing marketing for a long time at Silicon Valley, working in multiple startups, marketing department. And I was a happy CMO until I met my co-founder. And that's why DSALTA started. Because we didn't create DSALTA just to create DSALTA. My co-founder is a serial entrepreneur. He has a couple of successful exits, but his last company, Gregory, they failed to move because they couldn't move because of the compliance mafia, I use it to call, because he had a good business with the team, but to sell to enterprises he needed a compliance framework called SOC 2. But then to get SOC 2 he needed to pay more than $50,000 and he had to wait more than 6 months. And as an early stage company he didn't have that budget on the runway. And then he had to unfortunately shut down his company because of the he couldn't get SOC 2. And when I learned about that, I said, let's do something about that. And we learned that he's not the only one. Like every year, there are around 300,000 startups are founded, and some of them, of course, not in our space, but all of them need compliance framework. And because the legacy players are not satisfying the needs of next generation companies because they are very bureaucratic and outdated, takes so long to do, we create a brand new AI native platform to accelerate compliance framework. And we launch our product in July. We had a couple of free users and then we start charging and we got so much interest from the field and we are happily growing so far. And I'm here to talk about how we can do that, but this is how we started DSALTA. We had exactly pain point, one of the co-founders, and then because of that, we are growing very fast last couple of months.
That's really a terrific story, and I mean, it's very obvious to me, and just from industry news, how important solutions like yours for AI. The emergence of AI and the span of it. I mean, is incredible. So it would be great to hear, who your customers or ideal customer profile is. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess my thought process is, do the Fortune 200, Fortune 500, the big banks, do they need your help or do they have in-house services? Or is it more like, the law firm with 100 to 200 users, So yeah, it'd be interesting to. I mean, I think everybody needs it, right?
Yeah, like compliance is like tax. If you live, you have to pay taxes, and if you have a business, you need to have a compliance. So if you don't have compliance, it's a problem. Compliance is under an industry called GRC, governance, risk and compliance, and that's a growing sector because there are lots of changes in regulations and you have to comply with certain rules and you have to make sure that whatever you do is safe for your customers. That's why the compliance is there, right? Because if you don't have compliance frameworks, compliance certifications, then people you might get sued. There are lots of companies in the past lost their businesses because they were not compliant. So we are, to your point, yes, we are selling to companies from smaller scales all the way to larger scale companies. Our sweet spot has been startups so far because startups look for a couple of things. Startups look for ease of use, faster implementation, and most importantly, the cheapest solution. And we check all the boxes. There is nobody who can offer the product as we offer in terms of our price range, in terms of our speed, and in terms of our ease of use. So startups, we have a better fit, but we still talk to large companies. Actually, we talked to a very large Canadian conglomerate last week, and they are planning to purchase our solution. We also talked to Turkey's #1 bank last week also. They are very interested to use our solution. The larger the company, they care more about making sure that they protect them against outside threats. That's why we have a vendor risk management module where we protect all of our customers against outside threats, because vendor-based threats become a big problem. We have seen lots of issues in the news recently. So this is our enterprise solution where our companies, including telecommunications, banks, and some healthcare companies, are looking for risk management. But our faster moving segment is that compliance solution, because compliance solution, you need a very affordable and easy and fast solution, and that's the only thing we can, DSALTA is the only one that can do that in their requirements.
No, I agree wholeheartedly, and I love hearing about your solution. It sounds really robust and dynamic and scalable and all those. So let's look at it from another angle. So, Jon, compliance isn't just about avoiding fines. It's about enabling growth.
Yes.
So, from your experience, what are the hidden costs companies face when they delay or downplay compliance?
It's actually a very good question, Gregory. In the old times, people were delaying compliance because compliance means that somebody has to create hundreds of documents and policies, and then you have to pay so much of money. And basically, if you have a 5-employee or 10-employee company, 1 employee or 2 employees will be gone for next 9 months average. And then that's why people were avoiding. But to your point, there is a hidden cost. You are spot on. The moment you are not showing compliance and your competitors are showing compliance, customers choose them against the companies without compliance. So so based on our customers, we have seen 2 feedback. One is that they were able to close more customers, and second one is that because we work with startups, they were able to close investment rounds. The fundraising become much easier, because especially in startups, once you show the investors, hey, here's my SOC 2, and if you are in payment space, here's my PCI DSS, or you are healthcare, here's my HIPAA, or anything else, we support 25 frameworks. That gives additional check mark for the investor side, because investors say, okay, these guys know what they are working on. They are not waiting the last minute. And hidden cost is that depends on the industry. So if your average deal size is like 10K, you might be losing every day 10K of multiple deals while you wait. But the moment you show your compliance early on, it's better for you. Because I have been doing marketing for a long time before having this position. First impressions matter. So when you first meet the buyer, and then show that everything goes, and then you close by statement, hey, by the way, we have the SOC 2 compliance or ISO compliance, that steals the deals. So the moment you are not doing that, prospect is talking to your competitor, and if the competitor has that the advantage of compliance, the competitor is starting a step ahead of you. So that is why we encourage everybody to be proactive, to get your compliance without somebody's asking you. Because if somebody asks you, it might be too late in the case of my co-founder.
I agree. Again, agree. So you're right. You got to have all the pieces to the puzzle ready to go. And if you don't, like you said, you open a crack in the door for your competitor, and that's all they need.
Yeah.
Your customer, the founder or the economic buyer, he is depending on you, his vendor, his partner, to have this all buttoned up. And the moment that you show a little bit of vulnerability or crack in the armor, you're out. He's calling the
Yes.
competitor. You gave him a reason to call somebody else. So it's
You got
really
it.
critical. And not so easy, by the way. I mean, you have to be a good businessman. You have to be organized using AI, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just talk a little bit about which was something that really got my attention. So I just think it's a great phrase: speed to audit readiness. That's
Yes.
great phrase. So your platform emphasizes going from zero to audit ready in minutes.
Yes.
What breakthroughs in AI and workflow automation made this level of speed possible? And more importantly, how are your customers leveraging it?
Yeah, so we have been because the reason we got so successful is that we use the recent technology. If we found the DSALTA 2 years ago, maybe we couldn't be as successful because it is our engineering team is using the latest available technologies, like the latest RAG technologies or like the vector databases, the latest Gemini. We use Vertex AIs like vector database, and among many other LLMs. So we are using all the recent technologies. Some of them were not available as early as 1 year ago. So because we are like using the latest technology, we are able to deliver the stuff that you mentioned. Our competitors who are legacy players who have been in the GRC system for last 7 or 10 years, they were not able to maneuver like we can do because they're not as flexible. Because their systems are so outdated. That's why we are winning against these legacy players all the time. And how we work is that in the compliance space, it is not the most sexy topic, so some of your followers might not know that. To show compliance, you have to show evidence that you have certain policies and certain processes in the system. And then what happens is that a third-party auditor comes and then looks at the evidence and then gives you thumbs up, give you certification. This is the high-level breakdown, but the evidence collection requires so much work because you have to show evidence from your HR policies, your IT policies, your security policies. There are lots of things, and to create these policies, it's a very long cycle. What we did was we drafted all the policies, the template policies. So when the user comes, we leverage that for the user's name, and when people sign up, we ask some initial screening questions. For example, what kind of cloud provider you are using? Is it GCP, Azure, AWS? What kind of CI/CD systems you use? Are you using GitHub, so on and so forth, among many other things. And the thing is that the moment they answer the information, we create the majority of the audit readiness in a couple of minutes. We don't finish exactly everything in minutes, but 55 to 60% of the all the documentation evidence is finished in 5 minutes. And then the other thing that is not complete in 5 minutes, we guide them through our automated process. Then we say click here, do that, and then the remaining 40% or so is finished in no more than 1 day. So at the end of 1 day, most of our customers get all these evidence in just 1 day. Sometimes like 8 to 9 hours, but we say average like 1 day. And 1 day, then your auditor comes, and it's the challenge is that auditors sometimes takes back and forth because auditors want to ask additional questions. But our average so far, Gregory, has been 7 days. Like sometimes auditors ask questions, or sometimes user add the wrong information. So auditor might ask additional questions. They might ask some details about vulnerabilities depending on the business. So, but in average 7 days, the companies get their the most popular frameworks like SOC 2 Type 1 as early as in 7 days. But that is by far better than the industry average. Industry average, like last year, it was 6 to 11 months. Now this year, some of the other companies are reduced to 3 months, 2 to 3 months, 2.5 to 3 months. 2.5 to 3 months is better than like 9 months. We do in 1 week.
That's really powerful. That's
Yeah.
really, really powerful. So why my thought is that when somebody comes to you and needs, your solution and leverage your platform, there's a reason. Somebody's knocking on their door or, so yeah, so they need your help. And, for you to be able to respond like that and get them, a solution in place. Wow, that's really, really powerful. Good for you.
Yeah, and then there are mainly two types of people. One of them are required to get that, so they know that they need, like SOC 2 again is the biggest problem we have seen from our companies. So if they don't get SOC 2, they cannot sell. Like similar to, you can, if you are doing a online sales but you don't have a website, you cannot do online sales. Similar to having a website, you need to have a compliance solution. So, and they notice that we are the fastest, the easiest and most affordable. The second type of users are like, they are aware of all the risks happening nowadays and they want to make sure they are protected. So let me elaborate. Last couple of years we have seen cyber breaches increase, and majority of the reasons of cyber breaches are because of not the company itself, because of its vendor. According to a recent study, 77% of all the breaches happen from a vendor, and most people don't look at the vendors as they look at themselves. Like, you might think about, you're a bank, you have all these fancy security protocols, but your vendors are opening door for you for breach opportunities for you. And that's why we want to make sure that it's protected. And we have seen many examples in the past. Like, for example, last year, you might remember maybe CrowdStrike had a breach and that impacted Microsoft, and that halted multiple airlines in one day. I was one of the victims. I was stuck in New York City, and it was among many other people. And this year it even got worse, because we have seen these kind of activities increase this year because more people are using AI-based tools like Cursor, Lovable, and others. And it is good for productivity. And actually, according to a recent study, an average company uses 2x more vendors than 2 years ago. Like, if you are using 30 vendors, now you are using 60 vendors. And that is good for productivity, but then all these additional vendors create the gates or open gates for you, and we make sure we protect that. We are the only one that does continuous monitoring of all these vendors, that nothing can crack through your vendor doors and attack you.
That's really great. I love that, and I agree with you. And certainly, even open source is a big issue too. I mean, your developers are bringing open source into the environment or into the enterprise. But talk to me a little bit about another phrase that got my attention, and I thought it's really, really terrific. Continuous compliance in practice. So it's
Yes.
not just about passing an audit once a year, right? Of course not. But what does that look like day to day for fast growing tech companies? And the reason I ask that, so somebody comes to you, right, and they need to, a startup. So why did they come to you get a compliance platform? Because they got business knocking on the door, and it's mandatory. So once they meet the requirements. Now they submitted their proposal, which included their compliance audit, to be able to qualify to work with this vendor. So on the next one, what needs to be done? Is that what continuous compliance is about?
Yes, you are spot on. That's why we combined that's why we combine the term of compliance with that continuous monitoring. That's why we have this risk monitoring system, because traditional legacy companies give you the compliance frameworks and then say, okay, let's see in 1 year later. Because most of the frameworks you need once a year. But because we have seen that increased threats, once a year check is not enough. If I'm a large bank and if I ask my vendor to give me their SOC 2 compliance, they give me a SOC 2 compliance today. Let's say today is November 15. November 15, I'm good. But what about November 16? Because I was compliant on November 15, there is no guarantee I'll be secure tomorrow, November 16. So this is important. That's why we don't say goodbye to our customers after give them a compliance. We have the real-time monitoring that after we do all the checks, we keep monitoring their backend, we keep monitoring all the security posture, we keep their vendor-based risk. And then what happens at the moment we find something, we not only alert them, but we show the remediation. If we find something from breach, we tell them what to do. And if sometimes we find a breach from the vendor and we tell them what to do as well. For example, if we find a breach from a vendor, we give them an option. We give them 3 options. Hey, you can either ignore that breach, maybe it's not as important, or you can unplug that vendor because that's a big thing. You don't want to be the CrowdStrike Microsoft case. Or third option, we tell you step-by-step remediation immediately. DSALTA is the only platform that does real-time remediation and tells exactly what to do. We just cannot come between our customer and the vendor, cut the plug. We just tell the decision maker to that, but we just alert them and then we give final decision to them, but then we alert them. And then continuous compliance plus monitoring is the very critical thing, and we are one of the pioneers in this space because we noticed that once a year checks, once a quarter checks are only has to be updated as of last couple of years.
Nice. So I want to go back to the trust center. So,
Yes.
Most companies are moving toward automated trust centers that update continuously. So how do AI-powered trust systems change the expectations of clients, regulators, auditors around transparency?
So our AI our AI does everything. Our AI does evidence collection, compliance, and then risk management, especially our AI agent. And Trust Center is very critical as well because Trust Center is one of the most popular modules of our product, where we show the credentials very publicly. Because again, currently companies can grow very fast in short amount of time. You can launch your website in 1 day using Lovable and create your product in Cursor in 2-3 days. And then most people don't have time to build that Trust Center. Trust Center is that we create that beautiful design, so we show all the security posture that our customers get, so they don't need to worry about that. Our AI checks all the certifications and additional assets you want to show, and we make sure that it is up to date. If any time that one of the certification is in the process of getting maybe deactivated, we tell them, hey, because we do continuous monitoring, we say that please check this specific feature, otherwise your SOC 2 will be inactive. So our Trust Center also makes sure that's always up to date and real time. So our customers gladly and proudly show their achievements on the DSALTA provided Trust Center.
Nice. But now as we move into AI and more prevalent, more of a big impact on businesses, how does ISO 42001 play into this with the frameworks that are out there?
Yeah, so ISO has multiple frameworks actually, but let me take a step back first and explain that why so many frameworks are there. So most of these frameworks are regional. For example, in Europe there's a GDPR framework, which is if you have to any business, you have to have GDPR compliant. In North America, especially in USA, SOC 2 is prevalent. ISO is mostly for international businesses. If you do business in multiple countries, you have to get ISO. So ISO is more of a choice if you do multi-country approach. Some of our customers get let's say SOC 2 plus ISO or SOC 2 plus SOC 2 GDPR plus ISO based on the regions they serve. So, and there are also like country-specific certifications. Like for example, we are talking to like a couple of guys from Dubai and United Arab Emirates. They have a specific compliance, and we are creating custom frameworks for them. But if you have ISO, that is globally recognized. So that is the most recognizable like framework. That's why it is important to balance that. And we also suggest our customers to be proactive, not only getting one, but also get a couple of more. Because maybe you are a small startup in Slovenia, yeah, you need GDPR, but maybe in next year you will be selling to US, so you might need SOC 2, and maybe you might be selling to maybe rest of the world, Latin America, so you might get ISO certifications as well. And the good thing about DSALTA is that our platform runs on certain controls, and some controls are overlapping with each other. For example, SOC 2 has 94 controls, ISO has 160 controls, GDPR has similar number of controls. These are not same controls, but some of the controls are overlapping. So our customers and we agreed that it's better if they got multiple compliance frameworks at the same time, because while you are working on to get compliant, why don't you get 3? If you are spending a couple of days, why don't you get 3 at the end of one, so that it will give additional accolades to you. So you might see some websites have all these certifications. Our customers do the same thing as well, like because while they start, they just maybe added just incremental edition for GDPR or incremental edition for ISO, and they got 3 certifications in the same amount of time. They will get only SOC 2. And I highly encourage everybody to think not only now, but only thinking about globally and what might happen next year. And it only adds your chances to grow if you show yourself you are like larger certifications.
But so, no, but how does like a founder or a C-level person prepare now for that world where AI governance becomes part of every client's due diligence checklist?
Yeah, that is, I think you have to make sure that there is also like AI-based threats as well, like threats increase, and then these, like we are the good guys, we are protecting our customers from the threats, but also the bad guys using the same AI to attack you. Like they are creating sophisticated attacks to reach out to you. So you have to first be acknowledge that the world has changed. It is not the same world that we used to live in like in 2021. The world has changed significantly. And I think you'll agree with me, Gregory, most companies use AI in multiple departments, if not all the departments. So that is the news for last year or 2 years ago. Now you have to be almost ineligible if you are not using AI. You have to be able to use AI in everywhere. It not only increases productivity, it increase efficiency, it reduces cost, and it helps you to move faster among your competition. But in the meantime, AI is like the earlier discoveries. Every invention has a good side and a bad side. So AI is also can be used to attack you in like rather than earlier one hacker tried to get your password. Now AI can do that instantly. So that's why you have to increase your protection. That's why we create this continuous risk monitoring so that you can be protected against the upcoming attacks. And our protection works based on the updated threats that we identify based on our research team as well as our partners. So we are always up to date with the less recent changes. So my a naive suggestion to like C-levels and the CFOs are making sure that acknowledge that it has changed, and you have to spend more time and energy to protect yourself. And we can help, of course, but there might be other solutions, but you have to spend more time and energy and focus on protecting yourself in the new world we are living in.
Absolutely, I agree. Wow, what a robust, dynamic conversation. You were terrific, and your insights are really great, your industry knowledge, and I'm sure our audience is securing great value from everything you spoke about. So big thank you, Jon.
Thank you very much, Gregory. It was lovely to chat with you.
Yeah, and it was really great to learn more about DSALT and the AI-powered compliance automation platform. Really great. So, to our listeners, thank you for joining us. If you found this discussion valuable, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform and share this episode with somebody who you feel might benefit. And you can visit our website for more resources on scaling your IT business at www.raybinassociates.com. And we encourage you to connect with Jon and DSALTA and get audit ready. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Until next time, stay cyber resilient and keep innovating.